If you're buying right now, you have very little competition just because it's winter and seasonally the number of buyers out during the winter dips. How's it going, guys? I am Christopher McGee. I am the owner of Halcyon Real Estate. Halcyon Real Estate is affiliated with the Keller Williams Market Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Today is the 8th of December, 2025, and this is the next episode of The Numbers of the Nuance. This is where you come in order to know exactly what Utah's housing market is looking like on any given week. So as always, I'll tell you the story of what the market is looking like right now, and then I'll just give you the data that I'm pulling my storytelling from. Let's jump right in. Prices are stubborn is the story I'm seeing in our market right now. If you're buying a home right now in Utah, or if you're in the market to do so, you're probably finding what I'm seeing. And that is that although right now is a good time for buyers to buy for a number of reasons, like we have more inventory than we've had available in Utah right now in over a decade. The number of days that most homes sit on market is on average trending up. If you're buying right now, you have very little competition just because it's winter and seasonally the number of buyers out during the winter dips. So for those reasons, it's a good time to be buying, but you're probably noticing that prices are pretty sticky. They aren't coming down as quickly as we'd like them to for where we've been and for where our interest rates are and for how inflated the market got through 2019 to 2022. So you'll see homes on the market for 2 months with barely any price drops. And when the price does drop, often it's just into the price range where it should have been in the first place. So it doesn't really register as average home prices coming down. And in fact, the average home price is trending very moderately up still into the end of the year. So that's just odd, and that's kind of the story right now. When I see more inventory than we've had in a decade, when I see average days on market trending up, when I see the number of homes being sold every week trending down, the number of homes currently under contract trending down. When I see all these things, normally I'm expecting at the same time to see downward pressure on home prices. It seems like the pressure isn't being given into yet. And even though it is winter and we are still experiencing the effects of the housing inflation we got from 2019 to 2022, there are still people who need to move, and there's still a lot of people who want to live here in Utah. And so while demand is subdued, it's not subdued enough to cause home sellers to do anything at all dramatic to their asking prices. Let's look right at the numbers. So here's where things are in the Utah housing market as of the 8th of December, 2025. Our current inventory stands at 12,038. That's down from the last week and clearly trending down. This data set obviously hit its peak in late October, as it usually does, and has trended down from there. And we expect it to pick back up in the early spring, as it usually does. The prior week's average days on market came to 73. That's up from the previous week and trending up as we expect. The prior week's average list price came to $751,591. That's down from last week a bit, still trending moderately up though, like we said. Now, last week's average sold price came to $732,429. So that's down from last week. And this means that the difference between our average list price from last week and the average sold price from last week is in the buyer's favor to the tune of $19,162. Importantly, last week's median sold price came to $535,000, hovering right around where it has been, but just good to know always that there's an average and a median, and the median is where more people are having an experience buying a home in Utah. Last week, there were 577 homes sold in Utah. That's up quite a bit from the week before, but clearly still on a downtrend overall. The number of homes currently under contract in Utah comes to 4,560. That's down from the previous week, also trending down overall. Last week, the number of price reductions we saw came to 979, and that's a jump up from last week, certainly still a downtrend though. Last week, the number of listing contracts that were either canceled or expired or withdrawn from the MLS came to 655. That is down from last week, but not as far down as the typical pattern would have us expect after last week's first of the month report. It'll be interesting if this starts to trend more dramatically up. That would be another bit of downward pressure on the home prices. And last but not least, as always, average interest rates nationally for a 30-year fixed rate conventional loan come to 6.36% today. That's up from last Monday, hanging out right around where it's been for a while now, in the 6.25% to 6.35% range. And that is it for this week. If you have any questions about any of those numbers, hit me in the comments. I'll always be happy to respond. If you are thinking of selling or buying a home here in Utah, especially in Davis County, Salt Lake County, or Utah County, Hopefully it's clear that I understand this market as well as it can be understood, and I'm gonna be happy to work with you. And as always, if this is the kind of info that you want your head wrapped around, and the time to have your head wrapped around it is when you're thinking on buying or selling a home, because you'll make better decisions with better data, hit that subscribe and stay up on it with me from week to week. Thanks for watching this week, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.